Hey everyone, thanks for joining in the new premiere of Omar Navarro Unfiltered. Thanks for watching. I'm going to let everybody tune in first, so I'll let everybody start tuning in, and then I'll keep going. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody from? Hey Ray, how you doing, Ray? What state are you from, Ray? So everyone, this show basically that I started is basically to let everybody know what's going on, the current topics, stuff that's going on, crazy stuff that's going on in California. California, as you know, is the biggest swamp in the country. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. One of the things that I'm doing right now is I have the potential to run for governor of California. I believe that we need more people that are God-fearing in our country that are running for office, that are going to be taking action. And my goal is to educate people, to inform people, to make sure that people know what's going on out there in the state of California, not just the state, around the country. We got to stop this leftist indoctrination that is going on, and we got to stop it in its tracks, because if we don't do that, the left is going to win in November, and we got to make sure that we are stopping them. We cannot get cocky. We love the president of the United States. I love him, and I want him to win, and I want him to prosper. And I'm sure many of you do. And those of you who don't, that's fine too. But I have the freedom to stand with him, to speak with him, and to take sides and say the truth of what's really going on. So one of the things what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to inform people of different subjects that are going on. So one of the things I want to cover right now, those of you who are tuning in, hey Kelly, how you doing? Thanks for coming in from Florida. Ray, yeah. Oh, Houston. Okay. Houston must be nice. I've been to Houston. Actually, I've been to Houston before. Houston's nice. Florida, I've been all over Florida. I've been to Orlando. I've been to Tampa. Tampa's really cool. I like Tampa. Tampa's nice. And they have a good Cuban restaurant. Since I'm half Cuban and half Mexican, Tampa's pretty cool. So it's pretty sweet. They have a Colombia. Anybody should go to that restaurant. It's the best. Virginia has good clam chowder. The last time I went there, I tried good clam chowder there. People need to know that call the Democrats were brought. Okay, everyone. What I'm gonna do is after I cover everything, I'm gonna do a Q&A. So I want to let you guys know. So I'll be happy to answer any of your questions or everything. Go back through everything. So those of you who have questions, feel free to like drop your name in there and drop in whatever question you have for me. And when I cover everything that I've gone through, I'm going to answer your questions and I'll go through all of them. So that way you guys know what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to go through some stuff right now, and hopefully you guys keep tuning in. So please share this video with your friends, your family, and everyone that's on your social media. If you can do that, I would appreciate that. Get everybody to tune in. Thank you. So one of the things I want to cover right now is the Bible burning that just recently occurred in Georgia. I'm not sure if any of you saw that Bible burning. If you give me a thumbs up, if you guys saw that Bible burning that happened in Georgia, that was terrible. That was horrible that happened. I mean, look, if Black lives really mattered, why would Black lives be burning the Bible? I mean, Black lives. What does the Bible have to do anything with Black lives? So this is what's going on, and that's a terrible thing that someone has to resort to burning a Bible when the Bible's about peace, about God, about only good things. It's not about something that's negative and bad. So that in itself right there is just completely out of line. That I feel that happened in Georgia. I don't know what's going on in Georgia. There's a lot of other things that are going on in Georgia. I'll give you an example. In Georgia, there was just a state prison that basically just went bonkers. They completely lost their mind. I mean, there's all these people, inmates, that completely just rebelled and had a whole revolt. And with the revolt that they had in the prison, a lot of the inmates were basically fighting the parole officers and correctional officers, and they were basically going after them and fighting them and stuff like that. But sometimes you got to think about, why are they doing that? Why are they fighting the correctional officers? What happened? What's behind that? What motivated that? And I think a lot of the things right now with the heartache with the coronavirus, I think that's put a lot of people under stress, and because that's put a lot of people under constant stress right now with the coronavirus, it's created a lot of drift and a lot of divide. And what happens is, a lot of these people, being cooped up inside a cell, not necessarily saying that they deserve what happened to them, because they do deserve what happened to them. They committed a crime and they're paying for it. But again, they have to be treated fairly, people, and not, cruel and inhumane, because we are the United States of America. We are better, I believe, than most countries, and that we are exceptional when it comes to treatment of other people. So we as Americans have to treat people with respect. So I think there's some motivation behind this and what happened. I completely don't agree with, this whole riot that happened and everything. The inmates shouldn't have done that. But again, you don't know the root cause of it. As a Christian, I got to think about also the aspects of caring for other people, even if other people have sinned and wronged someone else. So you also have to look at that. So you also have to extend grace on people. So at the end of the day, that was a big factor that happened in that riot in Georgia. And that was a big problem in that state institution, including, going back to the Bible, of them burning the Bible, those protesters, and acting as if they were rioters in a prison. So that they're acting as if that criminal conduct is being basically, it's being, in a sense, being favored in such way, because the people that are on the left, I'm noticing, they are creating such a big divide before this election. And the big divide and the big drift that they are causing people to not trust the process, because you got to look at people that are in the middle. In this country, you have people that are in the middle. Not everybody's on the far right. Not everyone's on the far left. People are in the middle when it comes to issues, when it comes to things that are important to them. So you got to look at different aspects to the core issue, what's going on here. And I think that's your root problem with the way people are raised, the way that people are brought up. We have to assess that, and we also have to think about the cause of it, because there's a cause and effect for everything that happens. So when we think about certain things, we have to take action on them, and we have to make sure that we're counteracting the thing. We have to look at the pain in the communities, because in the Black community, they, traditionally throughout history, Black Americans have been Christian. Martin Luther King, his niece, Dr. Alavita King, whom I respect a lot, who I know. You got to look at all those aspects of that. Black Americans have been Christian. So why all of a sudden Black Lives Matter in doing a riot, doing a protest, and they are burning Bibles? Why would they burn Bibles? Because the left wants to indoctrinate them, wants to make them think that throwing out the moral outcome of our country into the trash, into the fire, is what's going to solve everything. And that's not what's going to solve anything. That's actually a cure to the pain. That's why you had a Black American by the name of Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac took a stand. Jonathan Isaac said, no, I'm not going to wear that Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I'm not going to take a knee. I'm not going to disrespect our country, because he was a veteran. And as a veteran, he knows the sacrifice of our veterans, the sacrifice that they committed for this country. And he said he wasn't going to do that. So Jonathan Isaac, my hat goes off to you for doing that. I really appreciate that you took action, that you said the way through the pain of the Black community is through Jesus Christ. And that, I appreciate that. I commend him for, because Jonathan Isaac actually has some guts. And that's, a lot of people don't have that in today's society, especially being a Black American. I would think that I'm Hispanic. My family's from Cuba and Mexico. There's a lot of pressures that go with norms in society you have to subject yourself to, that you have to agree with. And that in itself, for me, is a big concern, because because I'm Hispanic, it doesn't mean I have to support Democrats. Just because I'm Hispanic doesn't mean I have to victimize myself and think that I'm lesser of an individual, think that I can't achieve anything because I'm Hispanic. That's what you do to victimize yourself. And that's why you have people like Candace Owens or other Black Americans who don't victimize themselves, who are victors, who have the victor mentality, who know that they can achieve anything because there's nothing stopping them. So this is the mindset that people have to change. That's why I have organizations like the United Hispanic America that are going out, that are making a difference within the Hispanic community and getting Hispanics from using that label, from being proud more of being Americans rather than dividing themselves. So going back to Jonathan Isaac, I am proud that he did that. I'm proud that he took action and he didn't have to go into the leftist mob. But look what's happening. People are they're going to go after him. They're going to intimidate him. They're going to do whatever they can to try to stop his ideology and what he believes in, because Jonathan took a stand and said no to Black Lives Matter. Again, Black Lives Matter. Do Black Lives really matter at the end of the day? Does it really matter? Do Black Lives really matter when they're burning down Bibles, which traditionally Bibles have been? Black Lives have been believers in Christ throughout history. Do Black Lives really matter if they're doing something like that? I don't believe they do. I think they are completely against Black Lives. They are not for Black Lives. They're just here to do a political statement. That's all it is. They are not to help people. They are not to help people. They are here to completely destroy the fabric of our country, our U.S. Constitution, to have looting and lawlessness in our country. And that's what's going on. That is what needs to be stopped. That's what we got to do. We got to take some action. And again, going back into the praying, we got to pray. I'm a Christian. I'm proud of being Christian. I'm not going to apologize for it to anybody, because that's what got me through a lot of stuff in my life. And especially, you got to look at it in a lot of ways. I'm like, we need more of God in our lives when it comes to this country right now. We're going through a lot of stuff, and we got to stop a lot of the pains and the struggles that are going on in these communities, that are going on as a whole. I mean, look at what they do to the president of the United States. They completely try to fabricate all these lies against him and say that he is not credible, that he is not honest, that he's not doing his job right, because he's, in the contrary, he's taking action. He's doing his job. He's doing whatever he can to fix our country, the economics, our issues. He has the lowest unemployment rate in the history of our country. Of course, the coronavirus has taken it to rift. Of course, COVID is a big issue. Any president that would inherit something like that would have had issues. I understand that. So I get it. People have died. People are dying. COVID is a real thing. It is a big concern. But again, we have to look at the big concern as an issue that we have to address. I'll go into the example with I want to go into the mask right now. I'm going to go into the mask, and I'm going to talk about that, because the mask is a way to kind of put a noose on people and to censor them, because look, we understand that public safety people should have they shouldn't be made. I don't think they should be made to wear this mask, but they are being made to wear the mask. So it's like, you make someone wear the mask. It sounds to me like this is the plan of Venezuela and Cuba. This is the Communist Manifesto at its work, because when you're making people and Americans, completely get away from what we started as a U.S. Constitution, we got away from the motherland and we rebelled because we wanted our freedom. So why are we subjecting our freedom for public safety? Again, one of our founders said that we should never give up liberty for safety. So we have to protect our liberty at all costs. And if you understand the United States Constitution, you will understand that we have to protect ourselves from foreign invaders and people that are coming into the country to destroy our country. And one of the things that I see right now that is a pain in the country is that you have people that are completely fabricating lies, like the leftist media, and they commit all these lies and they say all these things that are not genuine, not true, but they do it because they have an ulterior motive, and their motive is to deceive the American public, to lie to the American public, to make the American public that there is nothing that's going on in this country. But Americans that are out there are starting to stand up. They're rebelling, and they're saying enough's enough. We got to do something about this, because if we don't, guess what's going to happen? We're going to go back into a third world country, and we're going to turn into far away from what we believe in as the U.S. Constitution. We're going to turn into a Venezuela. We're going to turn into a Cuba. And I tell you this, from my experience with my family coming from Cuba and knowing their experience, we sure as hell don't want to turn into another Cuba. Because if we do, hey, you can say goodbye to your freedoms. And those of you who like going to the mall and buying things, because there's those limousine riding liberals that like the high life, well, those of you can kiss that goodbye if you say goodbye to capitalism, because that's what our country's about. That's what the foundation of it is. People have the right to succeed, to make it, and to get far. So if you work hard, you have the ability to move up. It's not like we're going to hand out A's to everyone. Not everyone's going to get an A. Not everyone's going to get the B. And some people are just going to get the C. Some people are going to get the D. Look, there's going to be winners and there's going to be failures in life. Not everybody can be a winner. We're not going to reward everyone as if they are a winner, because if we start doing that, we get away from the societal norms of our country, and we go into an ulterior motive which destroys our country and the fabrication of what we stand for. That's why I talk about having family values, strong family values and work ethic, because if you have that, and that's what the Hispanic community has, is strong family values and work ethic. But the Hispanic community has been lied to. They have been sold this big lie to them that they should believe, that they should vote, that they should support Democrats when they're against their beliefs. As a Hispanic Christian who is pro-life, I would never vote for a communist Democrat. I would never vote for a Democrat that kills babies. I would never support them in any way, shape, or form, because I know what they stand for. And they don't stand for my ideology. They are against completely what my belief system is. And I could not support them. And if other Hispanics rose up and they learned that what was going on in this country and the lies that the Democrats have sold to them, they would not be voting for them. And when I talk about Hispanics, I talk about the legal ones who came here through the legal process, like my family, that didn't violate the laws of our country, that respected the laws of our country, that didn't go against the Constitution, that went into the country for peace and freedom and the opportunity to succeed in our country and the American dream. That's what they came here for. And I think that's what we need to get back to. People come here to achieve the American dream, but there are some people that come here to leech off the system, to abuse the system, to take from the system, and that's what's got to change. If we don't do that and we don't build gaps on that and cut on the losses and figure out that there are people that are abusing the system, because I know what they're doing. I bet you I know exactly what they're doing, because when I was growing up, I grew up in Inglewood, and I would hear the stories of these young kids when I was in school, and I would hear how their parents were abusing the system and how they were taking government assistance. Some of these people don't even get married and get their citizenship because it benefits them actually being illegal. Because let's say, I'll give you an example. If you're a single mom and you're still with the man that had the baby daddy, right? That's what they call it, baby daddy, right? And you don't get married to the baby daddy for the reason you can still stay with him, because she can claim government assistance as a single mother and get more money as a single mother. And then he can, on his own, claim government assistance and get assistance in health. And if he gets government assistance, now you have two incomes. And that right there, that is corruption in itself. That is abuse. And that's what's got to stop. And if that doesn't stop, guess what, everyone? We're not going to be headed to the right direction. So as a person that has family that are legal immigrants from Mexico and Cuba, they didn't violate laws. They came here the right way. They didn't take government assistance. They did everything right, and they worked hard. They had 3 or 4 jobs at once at times, because that's what they had to do. That's what they did to get ahead in this country, because they knew that this country already gave them a lot. They gave them the freedom to be able to speak up their minds, to go out there and work hard, whether if you have a disability or not, because I see people even with disabilities working in places. And they're not lazy. They're working. They're doing something. And they're not complaining. They're not saying that they are disabled when they're not. So you have a lot of hardworking people, hardworking Americans, even with a factor that affects them in their life, and they're out there working hard, while you have these lazy, no good people. And when I say lazy, no good people, let me define this, because the Democrats will try to twist this and say, oh, I'm racist. Well, I'm not racist, one for one. And second of all, I'm just spitting facts. Facts are facts, everyone. And the facts are that people abuse the system in our country, and we got to crack down on it. Whether it's the Hispanic community or other communities in our country, there are a lot of people who abuse it, and we have to crack down on it. From my experience from being Hispanic, this is my experience, and my experience alone, what I witnessed growing up. And I saw this. I'm like, you go to the welfare office, you'll see a lot of people driving Mercedes and BMWs, right? But if you should sit outside of the welfare office, so you see all these people giving government money, but then they're working cash jobs, and they're getting these cash jobs, and they're able to afford these nice cars, and they're paying everything cash, and they have everything nice, but they're living in a government housing, and they're living off the government. They're getting money, and they're getting their healthcare paid for and all this stuff, and they're totally milking the system dry. And that's what we got to crack down on, the people that abuse it, because there's a lot of abusers. And I'm telling you this, the pain and the struggles in our communities are not going to be addressed by just talking about it. It's by taking action. And that's why I have an organization like the United Hispanic America. That's what we're doing. We're educating Hispanics. We're going out there. We're trying to cut down on the stuff that's crack down on the fraud that is going on in our country, and the stealing and the looting of our financial system, because that's what's going on. Because when people steal from our financial system, it's going to destroy everything. One of the things that I want to cover right now, and I want to go into, is the Epstein files. Ghislaine Maxwell, I mean, they had these documents that were released just recently. It's not that long ago. I mean, I'll pop that up right there so you guys can see. They released the documents, and basically Bill Clinton, he kind of implicated himself in a sense, because, in the documents, has a lot of revealing stuff about Bill Clinton being in this island. And Bill Clinton, obviously denied and said that he was never in the island. But this reminds me, when Bill Clinton back in the 90s, when he was president and he was with Monica Lewinsky, and he went in front of the American public, and they asked him, did you have sexual relations with that young woman? And he said he did not have sexual relations with that young woman. And he completely lied to the American public and said he did not. Well, first of all, he's done this before. I did not do this. I was not there. And then he got caught in the cookie jar and got caught red-handed, buddy. So this is what's going to happen with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton tends to do this. He tends to lie and say things like this, and then he gets caught. Well, Bill, you're going to get caught. And my opinion, he should be in jail, along with Hillary Clinton. They need to lock those two up, because if they don't lock those two up, eventually Americans need to have a rebellion, and they need to say something. They need to take action, because nothing's going to happen. No one's going to touch the Clinton crime family, because that's what I call them, the Clinton crime family. They've gotten away with so much. Look at Benghazi when Bill Clinton was governor. So look at that, and as Americans, to stay vigilant, to take action, to go out there, talk to people, tell them what's going on, stand up to these people. Because if you do not stand up to these people and take action, look, our freedom is at stake. Our country is at stake. Our president is at stake. He's fighting for us. He is not perfect. I'll tell you that. He is not perfect. But God did sacrifice himself for all our sins at the end of the day. And we also have to think about that. He might have put this man, who was the most imperfect person, to be the leader of our country for a reason. He made him the leader for a reason. There was something behind that, because he wanted to show people that you don't have to be perfect to be saved. You don't have to be. You can still make a big difference. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want you to share this video. I want you to share the show that I have going on right now, Omar Navarro Unfiltered. I want you guys to follow me at Real Omar Navarro. All my handles on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube are at Real Omar Navarro. You guys can go on there, find me, follow me, subscribe, like, retweet, share, whatever you got to do. Make sure you guys donate to. I would appreciate your help and your support. If you guys can do that, go to my website at omarnavarro.com. You guys can go there to keep this going. I want to make sure that I'm informing you guys, I'm educating you guys of the current subjects that are going on in our country right now. And I want to make sure that we are fighting the fight, because if we do not fight the fight, the leftist ideology is going to destroy our country. Again, like I said earlier, my family came from a communist country and a corrupt country like Mexico that sends the cartels over to destroy our kids with the transportation of illicit drugs like cocaine, like heroin, and they also traffic children and other human beings through the borders to get their drugs through here, and also use kids for child prostitution. And that's what's got to stop. We got to crack down on this stuff. When it comes to the ports of Los Angeles and San Francisco, we really got to crack down on this. If we do not crack down on this, this is something that we got to start talking about, because this is a big issue. You know, something I studied when I went back to college. I studied transportation and cargo security, and I understand there's a lot of things that go through the ports. And if we don't look into the ports and start addressing that, that's going to be a big issue. I mean, we have the Department of Homeland Security, obviously, operating through the ports, but there's a lot of things that fall through, cracks that fall through. There's terrorists that can go through the ports also. There's a lot of issues that arise from there, especially when it comes to transportation of things. So I want you to think about that. Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, this is Omar Navarro Unfiltered, because I don't read a script like President Barack Obama. I don't read prompters. God bless you guys. And I want to go over some things too right now before I go, because I promised you guys that I was going to read off and some of the comments and questions that you guys asked me. So I'm going to go through my phone right now, and I'm going to go through some of the stuff. So I have my phone right here, and I'm going to read some of the stuff, because I promised you guys that I would for the Q&A. Yeah, so someone just said here, Rebecca Redden said that, I know someone who has lived here 50 years. She keeps a green card, and she wants to be a U.S. citizen because she doesn't have to pay out a lot of stuff because she is not a citizen. So yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I was mentioning earlier. There's a lot of people who stay in these programs, and they basically they don't want to get off the government handout because it's not a benefit to them. So it's like you keep giving people things, they're going to keep taking. They're not going to stop taking. So that's what it comes down to. We got to crack down on this. People can't just be on welfare. They can't be on these government programs for the rest of their life. We got to help them get back out of the process and back to work. Because if you hand out something for too long, eventually they just don't stop. They just keep taking, and that's what tends to happen. Let me read some of this other stuff right here. Let me go through. Let's see. Yeah, all communities do abuse it. Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of communities abuse it. Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about, the Hillary and Bill Clinton being connected to the cartels in Arkansas, Arkansas. Let's see. Yeah, again, the mask issue is debatable. I mean, it's debatable. I mean, look, people should have the right if they want to wear the mask or not. If wear a mask, if you believe the mask is for public safety, wear the mask. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You shouldn't be made to do anything. And I'm a true believer of that. I'm a true believer. We should not force people to wear the mask. I'm not a conspiracy theorist here saying that the coronavirus is not real, because obviously it's a real thing. I've had dear friends of mine die from the coronavirus. I've had one of my friend's dads who passed away from the coronavirus. And I have another dear friend, Herman Cain, who I love and respect a great deal, who helped me during my campaign. I reached out to his family. I talked to Lisa, who is one of the persons who's worked with him for over 30 years. and we had a conversation with each other yesterday. And we talked about this. I'm like, this is, obviously it's a big concern. People that have pre-existing conditions are the biggest risk for this. I'm like, of course, there are a lot of people who don't have pre-existing conditions, who are younger, who are more likely to recover if they have the coronavirus. So that's a thing that we have to talk about a lot, is the recovery phase of it. And also we have to talk about the different antidotes to this, like hydroxychloroquine. I can't even pronounce it. Hydroxy, I'm just going to say, because, we have to think about different ways to treat this. And this is a different way to treat it. This is not the complete solution. I'm not going to say this is the complete solution because I'm no doctor. But at the end of the day, this is a solution to it, not the complete solution. So we have to think about that. And so I think that we have to itself not just stifle people and get people away from having this mindset, because it works for some people. So if it works for some people, I mean, why not use it? So it's just like, why stop something that works for other people? So I think that's in itself is just is asinine. People don't have the conversation. That's what politics. If you don't have a conversation about it, then you fall into ignorance, right? In the darkness. Let's see if someone else asked me. Read this. Jose, help the spread of the virus with it. Other countries are pushing stuff on the internet, like, hey, let's demonstrate the middle of the world pandemic. If the people that choose to wear the mask, the ones dying, then that would be cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of narratives that are being pushed across the world. What I'm noticing from what I'm reading. There's a lot of narratives behind this COVID. And also, we also have to think about certain facts that go into this. I don't know if you guys know this, but, Dr. Lieber was a professor at Harvard University. Dr. Lieber was detained last November, on November 28th of last year from Harvard University, because he said that they said allegedly that he had brought 2 Chinese spies to work with him from Wuhan at Harvard, and they were Chinese spies. So they took him into custody. But I find it very interesting that they took this man into custody last November. That's just right before this coronavirus took the outbreak and it took off. One of the things that you have to look at, Dr. Charles Lieber was detained and taken into custody, and this case hasn't been solved yet. So look, Dr. Lieber back in 2013 received money from the Department of Defense. He received about the sum of $13 million as a contractor for them. So this man was getting paid by the Department of Defense as a biochemical scientist. So he himself was a scientist that was working for the Department of Defense, but yet he was also a contractor. He was going to Wuhan where this outbreak happened. So I believe that there had to be some motive behind this all. I'm not saying a conspiracy to this, but what I'm saying that there's got to be some underlying motive of why this man was taken into custody, why he was taken, because maybe they didn't want people to know that an American was going to China and he was working with the Chinese government to create and fabricate this virus that happened and then spread. And I think that's one of the things that most people are not really talking about right now, and that they should ask more, who is Charles Lieber? Because Charles Lieber has a lot to do with this virus. And I believe that the presumption is of what is going on behind the scenes, that the government is hiding. And when the government hides something, I usually look for it. And when I find it, I crack down on it. And that's why I'm letting you guys know, because you guys can do some more research about it and see that this is a story that's been more suppressed, that no one's really been talking about. So for me, that's where the red flag's at. So we got to address that. So I want to go back to thanking you guys for tuning in and for asking your questions and everything. I'll be doing this every Monday, so I want you guys to tune in around the same time. Please share this video, get it out there. I would appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. And please go to my website at omarnavarro.com and donate. I would appreciate that too.